Namaskar and welcome to this series of online lectures organized by the Indian Council for Historical Research. At the outset, I would like to thank the Honorable Chairman and Member Secretary of ICHR and also Dr. Josna Arora, Mr. Nilesh Jadhav, and all other members of ICHR Western Circle Pune to invite me to deliver this online lecture. The topic of my lecture is Elephant Motif in Numismatic Art of Ancient India. The Oxford English Dictionary defines numismatics as the study of coins and medals. It grew out as an academic discipline in Europe during the 16th and 17th century. In its initial phase, it was essentially an attempt to understand and organize the coins collected by various individuals in museums as curio pieces. Today, numismatics covers a vast variety of currencies and coins of the past, ranging from the primitive money, such as the animal hides, salt, tools like arrowheads, axes, and knives, and the cowrie shells. And it also covers the metallic coins, paper banknotes, and today's electronic currency. In addition, it also studies medals and tokens in what is sometimes referred to as para-numismatics. For reconstruction of history, the importance of the numismatic sources is too well known to be repeated here. According to the famous numismatist Philip Gerson, coins are primary evidence in all periods of history. But as we approach modern times, this role becomes less and less important. However, in this process of reconstruction of history, the coins serve variously as corrective, supplementary, corroborative, or at times sole evidence of an historical event. In this presentation, I propose to put forward a case for numismatic art. And to bring home my point, I have chosen to talk about elephant as depicted on the coins of ancient India. The main argument that I put through is a plea to the art historians to also assimilate these tiny little pieces called coins of the bygone eras, which contain some of the most striking artistic features in their studies. The art historians have so far concentrated on sources such as paintings, sculptures, rock paintings, seals, beads. These, as well as other traditional sources such as architecture, jewellery and toys, textiles and costumes, furniture and fixtures, and in modern times, films are generally studied by the art historians who by and large tend to overlook the numismatic sources. Ever since the humankind started using coins to fulfill its economic needs, the symbology of coins has been a very important aspect of the coin design. Now I shall present an overview of the elephant motif in the numismatic art of India and discuss their artistic and symbolic importance in the historical context. In India, coins came into use around 7th century BCE and were used by various Janpadas and Mahajanpadas. Many of these coins series provide an important and earliest examples of portraiture of elephant, as well as various other flora and fauna. So here you see the coins of the Koshal Janapada with an elephant punch here, along with other symbols. Similarly, there's a coin of another Kashi Koshal Janapada, where you see prominent depiction of elephant. Continuing with the Janpad series of the Panchmark coins, the coins of the Asmak Janpada, Andhra Janpada, Saurashtra Janpada, and Magadha Janpada. One symbol which is common and very prominent in its depiction is the elephant symbol, elephant motif. These are the coins of the upper Godavari Valley from Maharashtra, from Vidarbha area, from Godavari area. And here you see a very prominent figure of elephant depicted along with the other symbols. The copper coins of the Mauryan dynasty also had the elephant symbol. This is a coin of copper of the Karshapana variety, where you see the 6 arms symbol here, Shada Chakra, the sun symbol, and the standing deity, which is identified as Lord Shiva holding a trident. And on the reverse of these coins, there's a single punch of an elephant. The copper coins from the Vidarbha area, also of the Panchmark series, Karshapana series. Here we see only a single punch with the elephant motif, the reverse is blank. Another distinctive series of copper Panchmark coins is reported from the Eastern Malwa, that is the Iran Videsha region, and these are datable to the 2nd century BCE. This attractive coinage might have developed as a local variety after the collapse of the Mauryan Empire, when the political control devolved to the local rulers. And here you see a series of punches with an elephant walking towards left. The reverse is blank, as you can see in both the coins. Along with the Panchmark coins, there was another series of coins which is called the early uninscribed cast copper coins. There was a difference in technique as against the punching technique. These coins use the casting technique. And here the depiction of elephant is very prominent. There's an elephant standing before a pole or a shaft and walking towards left and in the other direction, and a series of symbols on the reverse. Also the uninscribed cast copper coin. You see an elephant on one side and the 3-arched hill with a crescent on the other. And on this rare variety of Panchmark coins, you also see the elephant rider along with the elephant. Another example of early uninscribed die strike coins. These coins were also contemporaneous with the Panchmark coins and the early uninscribed cast copper coins, but the difference was that these were the die struck coins. The symbology remains more or less the same, elephant walking either to the left or to the right, and the reverse has the 3-arched hill with a crescent or some other symbol on the other side. A very important chronological marker of the ancient Indian history is the invasion of Alexander in 326 BCE. Surprisingly, no ancient Indian text makes any mention of this event. All the historians of Alexander are from outside India, and the earliest of whom, Strabo, was born about 2.5 centuries later. The kingdom of the Indian king Puru or Pururava, who is called in Greek as Porus, was located between the Jhelum and Chenab rivers in modern day Punjab province of Pakistan. And later it extended up to the river Beas. Porus fought Alexander the Great in the Battle of Hellespont River in 326 BCE at the modern site of Moong in Punjab province of Pakistan. Porus was, however, defeated. The only contemporary visual account of the famous Battle of Hellespont, fought between Alexander and King Porus of the Pururava kingdom, is provided by the coins. Here on the obverse, you see Alexander wearing a military attire, holding a sword, and standing facing towards the left, holding thunderbolt in his extended arm, and in the left hand, he holds a spear, which is set to the ground to the right. Above here, you can see a flying goddess Nike, crowning him with a wreath held in both her hands. But the reverse is even more important and very significant. Here you see a horseman chasing an elephant who is apparently running away from the scene. On the elephant, you see two figures. One is the elephant rider and one is the pillion rider on the elephant. This horseman is identified with Alexander, who is wearing military attire and holding a couched zestern in his right hand. His famous horse, rearing right, attacking towards an elephant, retreating, upon which sits a helmeted Mahout, holding gourd and a spear in his hand, and turning around to throw another spear towards the horseman. Another helmeted figure, at the back of whom this spear looks like it has struck his back, and his hurt is leaning backwards, and he is identified as King Porus. I'm not going into details about the debate on the historicity of these coins. Those who are interested may refer to an excellent study by Frank Holt called Alexander the Great and the Mystery of the Elephant Medallions. There are certain posthumous issues of Alexander. Alexander, as you know, that he never returned to Greece. It seems that the Asian elephants had deeply impacted the psyche of the Greeks. And though Alexander could never return to his homeland, the legacy of the elephants did. Here you see the silver coins issued from an uncertain mint in Asia Minor during the 3rd century BCE, where there's a head of Heracles in lion skin headdress. And on the reverse, you see Zeus sitting on a throne-like structure, holding an eagle in his extended hand and a scepter in his left hand. Behind his throne is the legend, which reads in Greek as Alexandro. But most interestingly, you see the figure of an elephant here. In front of Zeus, you see an elephant head in its 3/4 profile. Another very interesting coin, a posthumous issue of Alexander, was this tetradrachm, which was struck at Babylon around 327 BCE, that is about 1 year after Alexander's death. On the obverse, you see a male figure, which is clearly an Indian archer, holding a large bow. And on the back of this archer is a ligature of the Greek alphabets, A, alpha, and beta, means Alexander Basilios. And on the other side of this tetradrachm, you find a majestic Indian elephant. These coins are of the highest rarity and only a few specimens are known. The successor of Alexander, Seleucus Nicator, the legacy of the elephants was continued by him, and some of the coins of this ruler, for example, this one, depict on one side the portrait of Zeus, and on the other side, goddess Athena riding a quadriga of elephants, 4 elephants drawing a chariot. The Greco-Bactrian rulers who succeeded Alexander in the East, and one of the prominent ruler was Demetrius I, who was able to establish his rule over Bactria, modern-day Afghanistan. He ruled from about 200 to 190 BCE, and he was succeeded by a number of kings known as the Indo Greek rulers. On his coins, Demetrius is shown wearing an elephant scalp headdress. You can see the trunk of the elephant here, the tusks here, and the whole head is wear as a headdress. It is in the same fashion as found on some posthumous coins of Alexander that were issued by King Ptolemy in Egypt. The elephant scalp is used here as a trophy, an apparent allusion to the conquest of the territories in India accomplished by these kings. Another coin of Demetrius I. On these coins, we find the head of an elephant wearing a bell round his neck. On the reverse, there's a caduceus symbol in middle, and on the either side is the Greek legend, which reads Demetroi Antiketos, that is invincible Demetrios. This was the title which was given to him for the reason that he never lost a battle during his lifetime. He conquered large regions of Afghanistan and Pakistan and also invaded India. Among the Indo-Greek rulers, which was ruled by about 30 Hellenistic or the Greek kings in the northwest and the north India from about 2nd century BCE to the beginning of the 1st century CE, the names of a number of these Indo-Greek rulers are known to us only through their coins. One such king is Antimako I. On his copper coins, we find an elephant advancing towards right on the obverse, and goddess Nike holding a wreath and a palm and advancing towards left. Another Indo-Greek ruler, Apollodotus I, ruled the western and southern parts of the Indo-Greek kingdom, stretching from Takshila in Punjab to Sindh. Bilingual coins of these rulers of Apollodotus I prominently depict elephant along with bull. The legends are in Greek on the obverse and the Kharoshthi script on the reverse. The Indo-Greek ruler Millander, known as Millander in the Pali texts, is said to have converted to Buddhism and become its prominent patron. His empire extended from Kabul River Valley in the west to River Ravi in the east, and from Swat Valley in the north to Arkosia in the Helmand province in Afghanistan. On his coins, which have also been a very reverential place in Buddhism, the elephant are depicted prominently. Here you see a full figure of elephant. Here you see the head of the elephant. Antiochus, another Indo-Greek ruler, full name was Antiochus Nicephorus, or the Victorious, shows Zeus riding an elephant. All around is the Kharosthi legion, the bilingual coin series, Greek on the overs and Kharosthi on the reverse. And here you see a very interesting and very majestic figure of Zeus riding an elephant. On the other coin, towards the right of your screens, an elephant is shown saluting the enthroned Zeus, who is holding a scepter in one hand and goddess Nike on his outstretched hand. So Nike is sitting somewhere here, and you see an elephant saluting and paying obeisance to Zeus. Very interesting depiction indeed. Another Indo-Greek ruler, Lesias, who is known only through his coinage, appears to have been closely associated with his fellow king Antiochus. On his coins, the title Antiquitos, the invincible, is shown wearing the elephant scalp as headgear, same as we have seen earlier in case of Demetrius. The reverse again shows the Kharosthi legion around and the figure of Heracles. Another coin of the same king. In one of the rare depictions of its kind, King Lesias is shown with his shoulder draped with elephant skin. So here you see he is sporting elephant skin on his shoulders, with his head and full majestic tusks and trunk jutting out in front. The reverse again shows the standing figure of Heracles. On the copper coins of the same ruler Lesias, we see full figure of elephant depicted on the reverse. Similar full figure of elephant is also seen on bilingual copper coins of another Indo-Greek ruler, Archebios. Like a number of other Bactrian or Indo-Greek kings, Archebios is only known from his coins, which are usually found near Takshila. Another Indo-Greek king, Helios II, issued these bilingual copper coins in eastern Gandhara or the western Punjab region. These coins show the bust of Zeus holding a scepter over his shoulder on the overs here, and full figure of a walking elephant towards right and towards left on the reverse. Indo-Greek ruler Zoilos II, on his bilingual copper coins, we again see the full figure of a walking elephant on the reverse. The obverse has the standing figure of Apollo. The role of the Indo-Greeks ended with the invasions of the Indo-Scythians or the Shakas. However, the elephant imagery continued to appear on the coins of many rulers of this lineage. The first coin that you see on your screen is a type of unilingual copper coin of King Maois. It shows the head of an elephant with an upraised trunk on the overs and a caduceus with Greek legend on the reverse. Another type of copper coins of the same king that were issued from the Takshila mint show enthroned Zeus being greeted by an elephant. The reverse has a standing figure of Zeus with a legend around. Another Indo-Scythian ruler, Asis II, issued bilingual copper coins depicting full figures of an elephant on the obverse and that of a bull on the reverse. Another line of rulers of foreign descent that ruled over most of the northern Indian subcontinent, Afghanistan, part of Central Asia, and the northern India during the first 3 centuries of the Common Era were the Kushanas. A prominent ruler of this dynasty was Huvishka, who succeeded Kanishka first and ruled for about 30 years. On some of his gold coins, this king is shown riding an elephant on the obverse with a Greek legend around the depiction and the standing figure of Heracles on the reverse. Very interestingly, if you see the proportion of the 2 figures, the human figure looks much more bigger in the size, or maybe as compared to the animal figure, the figure of the elephant, just to show the might of the emperor. On similar coins issued in copper, the reverse here shows a standing figure of Shiva. The legend reads as Oheshu. And another type of copper coin, the third one, shows Huvishka riding the elephant on the obverse and the standing figure of moon god Mao. Now let us see coins of some of the city-states of ancient India. Pushkalavati was earlier the capital of the Gandhara kingdom. It was located on the banks of the Swat river, and the ruins of this capital are still can be seen in Charsadda district in the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province, northeast of Peshawar. On these coins, struck in copper and datable to around 185 to 160 BCE, we find full figures of an elephant walking towards right, and the reverse sometimes has the figure of a horse or of a lion. But the obverse is always, it depicts the elephant. Here you see a horse, here you see a lion. Another series of anonymous copper coins, mostly found in and around Takshila in the Pushkalavati region. We find elephant and the symbol of three-arsed hill, either in combination or as standalone on either side of the coin. So here you see elephant and three-arsed hill, and the 2 symbols are together. The reverse is blank here. On certain copper coins of Takshila, we find the depiction of elephant in a very unusual perspective. Here, it is facing the viewers. There's a tree to the right and other symbols around. The reverse depicts the figure of a horse. Suktimati was the capital of the Chedi Janapada, which fell roughly in the Bundelkhand division of Madhya Pradesh towards the south of river Yamuna along with the river Ken. These extremely rare cast copper coins of Suktimati show a beautiful trumpeting elephant on the obverse and a horse with symbolic devices around, and a Brahmi legend, Sutimati, here on the top. A related but distinct coin type is from Kaushambi, now a town not very far from Allahabad in Uttar Pradesh. On the obverse of these cast copper coins, we see the elephant facing left with a wavy line below. And on the reverse, a tree enrailing with various symbols around. From the Narmada Valley, we have a number of coins related to our study. This particular copper cast coin has a beautiful depiction of an elephant marching towards left with a river flowing below. One can see two fish and a turtle in middle in the river. The river has the three-arched hill with a crescent on the top. The coins from the Vidarbha region have some of the most unusual depiction of elephants on Indian coins. These coins are attributed to the Bhadra and Mitra dynasties, which ruled over the Vidarbha region around 1st century BCE. This particular copper coin is from the city-state of Bhadravati in the Vidarbha region. It depicts a charging elephant with an upraised trunk on the obverse. On the reverse, it has a tree with a broad leaves and the Brahmi legend Bhadravati Yasa. Bhadravati is, as you might know, that it is a place identified with Bhandak in Chandrapur district of Maharashtra. Again, from the Vidarbha region, look at the depiction of elephants on the obverse of these coins. The elephant is hyperactively jumping, bursting with energy, trunk and tail uplifted with a plethora of symbols around it. A very happy and very joyful elephant you see on these coins of Vidarbha region. On the reverse of these coins, you also see the depiction of elephant, but here the elephant seems much more calm and composed as compared to the depiction on the obverse. A dynasty with rulers named ending uniformly in Mitra ruled over Khandesh area around the 1st century BCE. This copper coin attributed to the Mitra rulers of Khandesh depicts an elephant marching towards what looks like a tree or a flag post. Elephant type copper coins of King Bhumi Mitra. Brahmi legend around elephant reads Bhumi Mitasa. The reverse shows the Ujjain symbol. Again, a very unusual depiction of elephant on this copper coin from the Ujjain region. It shows a mixture of the elephant head and what looks like a fish on the back. The reverse has the famous, well-known Ujjain symbol. But this depiction is very unusual. Yodhe or Yodhe Gana was an ancient confederation who, like many other tribes, declared their independence after the death of Pushyamitra Shunga in the middle of the 2nd century BCE. They ruled over the area between the rivers Indus and Ganges, roughly over modern southeastern Punjab, Haryana, and Rajasthan. On one of their copper coins, we find the king riding the elephant on the obverse and a standing figure of Shiva on the reverse. Typologically, these coins are imitative of the coinage of the Kushana king Huvishka that we have seen before. Another type of copper coins of Yodhaya, we see a bull tied to a sacrificial post or a yoke. The legend around Yodhaya Naam Bahudhanya Ke. The reverse has an elephant. with a upraised trunk. Like the Yodhes, Odambaras were also member of a northern Indian tribal republic occupying an area east of Punjab in the western Himalayan region. They issued coinage from the 1st century BCE when they seemingly gained independence from the Indo Greeks. On the first coin, this is a silver coin, we see elephant towards the left with the upraised trunk together with the Brahmi legend, Bhagavata Mahadevasa and Raja Raja. The reverse has a bull facing right with lotus in front here and swastika above, and the Kharoshti legend around Bhagavatasa Mahadevasa and Raja Rana here below. On some other copper coins, we see a domed temple or a stupa building and a trident X to the right on the obverse, and the forepart of elephant facing a chain railing on the reverse. Similar to the coins of the Odambaras are the silver coins of another tribal republic of ancient India, the Vemikis. Here also we see an elephant with upraised trunk facing a trident with the Brahmi legend around reading Ragyo Vimakasa Rudravansaha Vijayaka. And on the reverse, a bull in front of a lotus with a Kharoshti legend. This is a copper coin of Mahakshatrapa Rajavula, who ruled around Mathura area around the beginning of the Common Era. The obverse shows a deity standing on a swastika with Brahmi legend around Mahakata Prasadaraja, while the reverse has a Gajalakshmi motif. So you see a figure of the Lakshmi here and an elephant. One of the elephant is seen here, the other is off the flank. And Goddess Lakshmi is being anointed with water by the elephant on her either side. Now this aspect is like most other aspects of Goddess Lakshmi, is representative of prosperity, good luck and abundance. The Gajalakshmi motif are very common in Hindu and Buddhist iconography and is still the most auspicious representation on Diwali medals. A group of Ikshwaku lead coins from Andhra Pradesh, each having an executed elephant on the obverse and a crude Ujjain symbol on the reverse. So, elephant. Satavahanas was the first empire builders in the Deccan. The founder of this dynasty was Chimuka or Simuka. On the basis of the typology, this early issue of Satavahanas is attributed to King Vasishtiput Chimuka. On the obverse, we see an elephant with an upraised trunk, a typology that was used by many successive rulers of this dynasty. However, the legend is not complete, and we see only a truncated legend with just 2.5 letters here, reading Ragyo Va, and that's it. The reverse shows a tree with broad leaves. These are also varieties of the Satavahana coins. The top on the top one here is a copper and the lower one is in the lead. However, the name of the king is not available on these coins. Both these coins have elephant motif on the overs. The elephants are prominently depicted on the coins of Satavahana, shown either with their trunk upraised or hanging and with and without the rider. These copper coins show an elephant on the overs with the legend Shri Satavahana in Brahmi. These coins are issued with the dynastic name rather than an individual king's name by Shri Satkarni, who ruled between 100 and 50 BCE. Shri Satkarni was responsible for the extension of Satavahana rule further east in Vidarbha from his base in western Maharashtra, in the regions around Junnar, Nevasa, and Paitan. The reverse of these coins show the Ujjain symbol with or without the associated symbols. Some more coins of Sri Satkarni. These copper coins with elephants in various poses depict on the overs, and on the reverse you see the name of the king written in Brahmi as Ragyo Satakanisa. Before we move on from the coins of the Satavahanas, let me show you this interesting gold signet ring, which bears a typical Satavahana type elephant walking in towards the right. You can compare the execution from the coins of the Satavahana. And the legend here reads Bannasa. So we do not know what this Bannasa, whether it was a place or a person. This ring was found in Nevasa and could have been used as a seal by some minister or high-ranking official of the Satavahana Empire. So again, we see the prominence of the depiction of elephant in the state symbology. The Maharathis were the feudatory of the Mauryan Empire in the Karnataka area. After the collapse of the Mauryan Empire during the second quarter of the 2nd century BCE, the Maharathis declared their independence and established themselves in the various territories held by them. A family of the Maharathis ruled in Chitradurga, Karwar, and Vanvasi area of Karnataka. The Maharathis began the practice of minting coins in lead. On the basis of their coinage, names of various rulers of the Marathi dynasties have been identified. This particular coin shows an elephant on the overs with Brahmi legend around, reading Maharathisa Shivakapinasa. The reverse shows a tree in railing. The Western Kshatrapas were the Shaka rulers of the western and central part of India, Saurashtra and Malwa region in modern Gujarat, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, and Madhya Pradesh. They were the contemporaneous with the Kushanas, who ruled over the northern India, and the Satavahanas, who ruled the central and the Deccan. A prominent ruler of this dynasty was Napahana, who was a contemporary of Satavahana king Gautamiputra Satkarni. A number of silver coins of Napahana counterstruck by Gautamiputra Satkarni have been found in the hoard at Jogalthambi in the Nashik district, which suggests that Gautamiputra had defeated Napahana. So you see the coin of Napahana here with its counterstruck with the Ujjain symbol here and a 3 hours symbol here is counterstruck by another symbol. But very interestingly, here we have a copper coin of the Satavahana ruler, which has been counterstruck by the thunderbolt of Napahana. So here you see the famous Satavahana elephant and the thunderbolt symbol identified with Napahana has been counterstruck. Another Western Kshatrapa ruler, Damasena, issued coins in Potin, depicting an elephant on the obverse. The reverse has the three-arched hill with a crescent and the date in the Shaka era written in words as 225. I would like to end this presentation with these marvelous pieces of numismatic art. The Gupta Empire stretched around northern, central, and southern parts of India between 320 and 550 CE. The Gupta rulers were great patrons of art and learning. On the first coin, King Kumaragupta I is shown with a muscular body, riding a caparisoned elephant. And you see the depiction, the king's head shows curly hairs, wearing a pearl necklace, armlets, and wristlets. The Brahmi legend is starting behind the attendant's head here. Reads, Kshataripu Kumargupto Rajarata Jayati. Kumargupta, who has destroyed his enemies and protects feudatory kings, is victorious over his foes. The reverse shows goddess Lakshmi, and the legend here is very interesting. The Brahmi legend reads Sri Mahendra Gaja, the elephant of King Mahendra. On the second coin, on the right, is also a very rare type of Kumaragupta I. Here the king is shown riding a royal elephant with an attendant who is trampling a lion. So the elephant is shown trampling a lion under its feet. The reverse has a deity, Kumara Devi, with a peacock. And the legend again is very interesting. The Brahmi legend reads Singh Nihanta Mahendra Gaj. That is the killer or slayer of lion, the elephant of King Mahendra. This was perhaps for the first time that the elephant finds a place in the coin legends. As you might have realized by now, coins have tremendous aesthetic and artistic value, and as such, they constitute a very important source for art historians. The students of art history have, so far, largely concentrated on paintings and sculptures and other visual arts, and have not integrated the numismatic art in their studies. The fact remains that the earliest royal portraiture, anthropomorphic representation of religious deities, finest examples of calligraphy, flora, fauna, costumes, and jewellery, different symbols and motifs, as well as other artistic designs and embellishments, all can be studied through coins. As the doyen of Indian numismatics, Dr. Parmeshwar Gupta records, the dies from which these coins were struck were the work of artists of the day. So they reflect the workmanship of the artist and also the aesthetic tastes of the people of those times. I would therefore like to conclude by making a renewed plea to the art historians of the region to take a closer view of these tiny little pieces of history. Thank you very much.